You're listening to the Betoota Advocates Weekly News Wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5. Welcome back to the Betoota Advocate Weekly News Bulletin, recording live here in downtown Betoota. Hell of a week. Cabinet reshuffle. There's fucking lots going on. How are you guys going?
Very well, mate. I'm dry, so I can't complain. How are you, Clance?
You're dry as in it stopped raining, or you're off the piss?
I've been off the piss for a couple of days, I guess, but no, I'm not flooded. I'm not wet.
Well, that's great to hear. Wendell, how about you, Errol?
Mate, keeping it pretty quiet, mate. Just keeping the blinkers on, you know, because had a little bit of a falling out with the boys that I've been camping with these past few weeks. You know, they were just saying all these different things, like they were saying that, you know, parts of the government had to go by force, and I didn't really agree with that. And then they were like, well, who are you, mate? Like, do you work for ASIO or something? And then they, like, you know, they gave me a bit of a flogging. But now, yeah, we're just not really...
Is that why there was a burning cross on your lawn the other night, or...?
No, that wasn't... Oh, well, look, it could have been, mate. I don't really know, but... Look, I'm just working through a lot of stuff at the moment, so maybe we should just kick this on, mate.
Yep. What's in the news, Wendell?
We'll start off with a big political story, and it's about Scotty being brought to tears after imagining that desk belonging to Jenny.
Yes, another week has rolled by and the government is still being plagued by its treatment of women, believe it or not. After the fallout from the criminal allegations continued, it was revealed a few days ago that a senior government advisor decided to shave the carrot on a female MP's desk in a very weird and very young Liberal turn of events.
Yes, and of course, Scotty had to front the cameras and answer some questions about the issue. Desperate to show the voters that he is empathetic and caring, the bloke in chief decided to bite the bullet and conjure up some crocodile tears by deciding to imagine that was his wife's desk that the bloke wanked on.
Jenny certainly does have a way of clarifying things, and there was a comment on that one from Danielle Mangelsdorf, who said that the desk should actually consider itself lucky. In countries not far from here, desks are dodging bullets. Now we have another big story with some national ramifications, and not all men, says type of bloke who has never met a woman he didn't make feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, very interesting story, this one, in my opinion. Interesting that you wrote this one, Clancy.
Yeah, well, with all that's happening in politics and International Women's Day and the like taking place, we thought we'd actually, you know, do the work and go and interview some men about all this. And I stumbled across one free thinker from down in Betoota Heights who doesn't blindly subscribe to this woke PC ideology. Aldous Quilton, his name was. He reckons these numbers of, the UN reporting 97% of women have experienced some sort of sexual harassment in their lifetime. He reckons these numbers are warped with the intention of painting all men with the same brush. This is the same man who makes every woman he meets, including his mum, feel uncomfortable, said, "Personally, I find a lot of women want to be victims, and all the statistics are skewed to push leftist agendas."
Yeah, I'm not sure you had enough saliva in your mouth for that quote there, Clancy. Our next story is about someone that this man, Aldous, is fighting against. The headline reads, "Inner city social justice warrior runs into Peter Dutton in the airport toilet and says nothing."
Yeah, it's taking place down at the local Big Bird Avery, a local social media loudmouth who said they'd give Peter Dutton a piece of their mind if they ever ran into him. Had the opportunity to do so this week, but ultimately didn't say shit because they got scared.
Have either of you ever come face to face with Peter Dutton? He's a big man. He isn't small, but anyway, this local drop nuts named Darcy is currently wallowing in self-hatred after locking eyes with Dutton as they pissed, and actually losing the ability to speak, funnily enough. So Peter Dutton apparently, on the way out, called him a weak dog. Jeez.
Yeah, that would have been quite humiliating. And there was a comment from Dave Greening along the lines of what you were saying just before, Errol. He said, "He's a big dude, at least 6'5". He's scary," which is... to me, kind of pathetic.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't last 10 minutes in Fred Brophy's 10. I'll guarantee you that much.
Absolutely not. Not with that posture. You could bring him down with a dragonfly.
Or a can of dog food.
Woof, woof, piggy.
Now, a story about some blokes who aren't afraid to throw and blind drunk brickies punching on outside the pub at 1 p.m. A fair indication we've had some good rain.
Yes, it was pretty wet this week, right across the eastern seaboard and through the west, Central Australia, Betoota as well. And one of the greatest indicators of that was the fact that a couple of blokes in high vis were throwing hands just after lunchtime a few days ago.
You know what they say, 2 drops on a tally-ho and off you go. As the man from the Bureau of Meteorology said, we saw a lot of tradies absolutely lifting each other outside hundreds of licensed venues over the weekend, and that's a fair indication that they've had some great rain.
There you go. Good to hear a guy from the Bureau of Meteorology getting something right. And our last story of the week is sausage dogs, great in theory.
Yes, a recent report has found that the adorable sausage dog is much more likely to be enjoyed as an idea, not necessarily as a reality or as a pet for that matter.
The study also found that outside the cuteness factor, the Dachshund's ability to climb stairs or be tied up outside a coffee shop without carrying on like a goose makes them very impractical. And I tell you what, I've done a lot of travelling in my time, and when I was in Bavaria, I'll tell you what, these Dachshunds are delicious. They're up there with the French Bulldog, but in terms of back here in Batuta, I would just go and get a rescue dog or something like that. You know, save some money, save a life.
Well, the French Bulldog actually has health problems. I mean, the sausage dog's unable to climb stairs with their tiny little legs, but the French Bulldog has health problems too, so...
They do, mate.
You don't see many of them in rescue.
It's kind of like owning an old Audi. I mean, I'll tell you what I did with my old Audi is the same thing I did with my youngest's French Bulldog, is that when it started to break down and get old, I just drowned it.
Okay.
Were you saying that the French Bulldogs are up there with the sausage dogs for deliciousness, Errol, by the way, or just for the cost of running?
Well, you know, mate, it is, you know, cost is a factor. You know, I think they'd be much cheaper overseas, so you can eat them over there. Where here, you know, you'd do your ass in 2 seconds if you just lived exclusively off the flesh of French Bulldogs and Dachshunds.
That's it from us this week. Thank you for listening to the Batuta Advocate Weekly Bulletin. I'm Clancy Overall. This is Errol Parker. And that's Wendell Hussey. Thank you for joining us today. Hooroo.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.